Hey, y'all, this is our take. This is Mark the moderator.
Maybe the process or beneath.
All right, so an interesting discussion I would like to try and try and have and hold is the conversation is and let's put it around the finals, NBA finals. Does injuries in the finals, does it stain the winning team chip if the winning team wins a chip against a team that loses their key players to injuries?
You know, this is a you can't have it both ways type of conversation. Yes, it does. The narrative does. Because so let's go to current events. What have we been hearing? The Nets was healthy, they would have won the chip, right? That's what we hear. The fact of the matter is that the narrative does, but the reality doesn't. You know,
explain that.
It's still so. Yes, the narrative is going to tell you, look, if was a spliff, we all be high. You know, if Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie Irving were all healthy, if you look at the sample size of the first few games, right? Even without James Harden, you know, the Nets dominated the first two games of that series, right?
Without doubt.
Kyrie gets hurt, and it changes the entire complexion of the series, right? Mm-hmm. So the narrative is, well, hey, if Kyrie doesn't get hurt, you know, they win. But the reality is that, the Bucks still had to go out there and play ball.
But okay, so wait. So, A-Rod, just want to make sure that I got it right. Just want to make sure. And what I want to use is boxing. So you in a title fight. Now, again, this ain't regular season. It's a title fight, championship fight.
Gotcha.
You're going into the 12th round of a 12-round fight. It's a championship fight. And you dislocate your shoulder. And the other guy beats you. You're telling me that the dislocation of the shoulder doesn't give that person the win when it's possible that you could have won this fight, but because of the injury, it changes everything? It doesn't change anything?
Well, all right, so let me just break down your analogy.
Okay.
I need to know, are you telling me as the guy that got the separated
He's winning 11, he's living 11 of the 12 rounds, he's winning.
All right, because I'm going to tell you in that 12th round, you better be doing a whole lot of dances to tap out of that fight. You know what I'm saying?
But let's just say again, but does the injury impact the win?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So okay,
and
so
I'm agreeing. The narrative but what I'm trying to say is, and I'm just talking basketball specifically, because we definitely, no questions asked, we could definitely argue that all day. If you got a pitcher throwing a shutout, game, and he hurts his arm, that changes the complexion of the game. That's what I'm saying. Like the reality is that the narrative is gonna call for, hey, if these guys were healthy, that's different. But the fact is, we still gotta play ball. You know what I mean? We still gotta play football.
But I'm weakened. I'm not full strength. Now, what I said is this. To me, the narrative is the next man up. You got to still play. Yes, you got to get through it. Wait. But that's regular season. But when you talk about the finals, this is the coup de grace. This is it. That's like, okay, another analogy. You go into a Super Bowl and your starting quarterback gets hurt. You are the favorite. And you got to play a Super Bowl with your backup quarterback.
Right. Yeah,
do you look at the winning team? Let's say the other team wins. You're the favorite. The other team wins, beat you with your backup quarterback. They raised the Super Bowl title. Do you look at it the same?
Nah, but I mean, football has gotten a little bit of parity with that because you've had Nick Foles win a chip, right? You've had some backup coach, Jeff Hostetler. We've had backup.
No, listen, not saying it doesn't happen.
It's a little different because basketball, I go by the effect of said players.
But what I'm saying to you is, do you look at the winning team the same, being the fact that yes, okay, because again, if the backup quarterback wins, that's amazing. But if you beat a team that's using their backup quarterback in the Super Bowl, do you then turn around and say, "Oh, yo, that's the better team"? Because you beat them, you beat them shorthanded. Yo, just like the finals. At the end of the day, but I think it's us who feel like no matter what, this is what it is. Because this is us doing it. We're not taking what you talk about reality. We're not really bringing reality in it. Because if you bring the reality into it, how can you celebrate beating me shorthanded?
Damn. Yo, historically, there's just so many examples of it too. Like, it's so hard. CP3 gets hurt with the Rockets. Golden State wins. Kawhi is out. Durant is out. Clay is out. You know, and the Raptors beat Golden State. It's just so many examples.
Listen, but mind you again, I keep saying it. But as fans, we try to ignore the reality.
All right, so check it out. I'm a Philly fan. If my Philadelphia 76ers beat a team without their star player,
but we're not. Listen. But see, again, that's your fandom. What you running to is your fandom. Now, because I said, as fans, this is what we do because of the fact of how much we hail a chip. But if we're using, you said the narrative versus reality. If we're going to use the reality of it, then reality is, I can't really say that chip is what it is because I know I beat a team shorthanded. It's different. It's different if we beat you outright. Then that's a whole, listen, when the Sixers beat the Lakers, swept the Lakers, they was full strength. That's an amazing feat. That's because, again, the Lakers walked in as the favorite. The underdog won, swept them. Wasn't anything anybody could possibly say. But if you turn around and say that when you look at the Raptors beating the Warriors without KD, without Clay, they beat a weaker team. You can't celebrate that chip the same way.
You know what's so funny? If you ask the average player gonna tell you, I want to play these guys full strength.
Full strength, without a doubt.
No, because they know what time it is. You know what I'm saying?
Because then you can tell me that you're better than I am because we're full strength. Now, mind you, again, I'm not taking no one's titles away. Right. I'm just saying, do you look? You should look at them differently because you didn't beat a team full strength. And we don't do that because what we do is we use the fandom in us to always say, well, yo, bump that injuries is a part of the game. Of course they are. But at the end of the day, when you celebrate, do you celebrate the win the same, knowing that you beat a wounded team?
I'm trying to think. My whole thing is, all right, boom. You beat a team that got injured or whatever the case is. You got to show me that you can get back to that point to make me a believer. Because remember, we had that conversation about the Bucks.
Yes,
right?
we did.
Said, yo, all right, if the Bucks don't at minimum make Eastern Conference Finals, we gonna question that chip, right? If they bring back the same team, we gonna question that chip.
But we're told we can't question that. We're told we can't question it because the injuries are a part of the game.
Ooh, they are. Injuries are part of the game, but
say it. Reality.
The reality is that, yo, you won because of. You know what I'm saying? Not in spite of, but because of. Let's be real.
Right.
So, Kyrie is healthy and James Harden is healthy.
It's a whole different series.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that the Bucks could not have won.
We don't know.
The margin it works. It doesn't work in the Bucks' favor.
But if the Bucks win and the Bucks are able to beat them full strength, then that gives the Bucks a greater victory because you beat that team that you're the underdog against. You beat them at full strength. You're the better team. I ain't mad at you. But when you talk about a team that I beat that has two guys gone for multiple games, and I'm sitting here like, hold on, wait a minute. How do you celebrate as if you're this great team when you beat a team that was wounded?
All right, yeah. I mean,
just like the Warriors. Listen, the Warriors beat the Cavs for sure, but they didn't have. But they were shorthanded.
Shorthanded.
The Warriors lost to the Raptors shorthanded. It's not the same. I keep saying it. You can't say it the same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in the next man up theory. There's a reason why that guy is number 3. Yeah, and I know Lee's argument is always, if you're on a ball team or football team, you're one of the best players already. you still, if you talk about the Greek Freak and then the guy that backs him up, like
The
stop
200
like,
ranked player.
yeah, like this is a huge drop off. This is not your next man up. This guy can put up 30, 20 and give you 4 blocks. Nah.
But
that
you
next
see,
man up is nonsense.
But you see, let me say this: the next man up theory works for the regular season, not for the playoffs.
Nah. Particularly in basketball.
No. Listen, because think about something right now. Just want to show you something. Us as Cowboys fans, we lost Dak last year. We knew our season was done. I don't care what you did. We knew our season was done. Am I right or wrong?
100%, G.
Okay, money, because that's your key piece. No matter what backup quarterback you put in there, of course we're gonna hope that the backup quarterback does well, but he's a backup for a reason. The next man up wasn't gonna help us. And listen, think about it. Our O-line went 4 out of 5 O-linemen last year went down. The next man up didn't help us none. Because again, you shorthanded. You can't tell me that a shorthanded team is the same team as a full strength team. It's 2 different teams.
Definitely not, man. I feel like, again, we've seen some examples, some outliers in football.
Right, outliers. Great word.
Where some parity existed, where that team won with a backup quarterback or backup running back or whatever.
Tom Brady came in. You have the Bradys. You have the what's his name, which you had mentioned earlier, came in and stepped in. It happens, but it's not the norm.
Yeah, but in basketball, that's significantly harder to do.
Very hard.
It's significantly harder to do.
Very hard. Very hard to do.
I don't see that being real. Like we're not saying that Landry Shamet was coming in for Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? And putting up
that's an equal replacement. It's not going to be equal.
Not at all. Not at all. And a humble James Harden, who was a shell of himself.
Look at something. Just this past season, the Lakers were favored to get to the finals. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
AD goes down. When AD goes down, what happens? Change the complexity of what was going on.
And LeBron was just coming off an injury, if I got it right.
LeBron coming off of show himself. The Suns get to the finals, kid. It's a different story, kid. Again, it's a different story because once again, when you're not full strength in basketball, it's hard to replace what you have. You just can't throw somebody out there and say, okay, we good. No, you ain't good. Yeah, especially in the playoffs.
I agree. No reason. I mean,
but
I don't want to take away guys winning chips.
No. Listen. See, what you just did is what we do, and that's the human nature. I don't want to take away from a guy winning a trip. It's okay to take away from him because guess what? When you talk about reality, because if you're gonna say narrative versus reality, then let's stay in the reality. The reality is your chip is less than because of what the situation was. I'm not taking nothing from it. I'm just putting the cards on the table as it stands. These are the cards.
Right. I got you.
All right. Listen, that's what it is. Listen, now, just like you said, if next year, if you can go out, you can beat everybody at full strength, then that proves that, guess what? You was the team. But you can't say that right now because guess what? You haven't beat everybody at full strength. The difference makers that they're not at full strength. You didn't play the best 10, the best 9, the best 8. That was off it out in front of you. That's the reality. You got the chip. You got the chip. I ain't mad at the chip, but I'm just saying, but don't tell me you celebrate it the same. It has a stain on it.
It does. There's an asterisk next to it.
Well, see, I don't use that word, but there's a stain to it. But my thing is what bugs me out is how fans try to avoid having that reality conversation. It's like fans don't want to have that reality conversation. They don't live in the reality of what the situation is. They want to ignore it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the whole, like I said, it's the whole idea of not wanting to discredit the winning team. That's really what it boils down to. And regardless of the fact, yo, you got a chip, but you beat a team that was tripping.
And wait, and that's the reality. And you can't get full credit for a paper that was plagiarized.
All right, good example, G. Good example.
Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? You can't get full credit. I just can't. That's the reality of it. Listen, you did a fantastic job plagiarizing this paper. But at the end of the day, I can't give you full credit for it. I would like to, but I can't do it.
I'm agree with that. You got it.
That's all it is, kid. All right, y'all. This is Our Take, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. We'll be right back. Peace out.